We are in Season 4, Episode 4 of Gotham, The Demon's Head, and Bruce Wayne is finally learning about consequences for his actions. Sophia's a boss bitch, owning stuff, and Penguin gets revenge? Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Oh, everything okay? What happened? Okay. We are in Season 4, Episode 4 of Gotham, and this week, Bruce learns consequences, Sophia is a boss bitch, and Penguin gets revenge? Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Since Zack and I are taking over, it's Kanye.
Yes.
What? I love Kanye, and I love this song. And Sophia stretched her hands this week,
Yes.
pulled some tricks. It was kind of amazing.
We're playing Kanye every week. Like, that's it. That's
Steven's gonna be
it.
so
We're taking
upset.
over the jam. Steve's not here, so we're taking over the jams. We're taking over.
I do appreciate being on the booty pop a little bit before we start the show. Just gets the energy up, you know? It's like it's happening.
yeah.
I'm about it.
Yes.
Guys,
Channeling Sophia right now.
yes, totally. Being boss bitches. It's just me and Zack in the studio today, so we're gonna have the chat up. We want your input. Tell us what you thought of the show. What's going on? I see a lot of familiar faces in there. Hey, Billie Jean Girl, 24, Ziza B. Lou. I'm sure Ivan is hanging out in there somewhere. We love all of you guys. Star Drew, hey buddy. So Zack, where can the people find you?
Everybody can find me at Just Plain Zack. I keep it simple. Z-A-C-K, Just Plain Zack, all over the place.
Love it.
Twitter, Instagram, make it easy for people.
The best. I'm Joelle Monique. You can find me all over the internet at Joelle Monique and every week at blackgirlnerds.com. Wow, Demon's Head. We get into some real... I know they're saying racial on the show. I know it bothers some of you that I refuse to say it. It hurts my ears, guys. My mouth doesn't like saying the words. It's awful.
Sexy.
It's not sexy.
At all.
So I'm going to stick with Raj. We established that rule
Raj.
last week. If you're new, that's what we're doing. I'm sorry about it.
It's happening.
But yeah, let's just dive into the core story.
Mm-hmm.
Bruce has the knife. He won it. He earned it. And now he's given it to a doctor to examine.
I mean, I called that early on. I was like, he cannot get, like, you can't trust anybody with the knife. Like, once it goes out of Bruce's hands, like, you know Raish is coming for it. Rush. Rush.
I really appreciate the detail that's gone into secondary characters we only have for a few minutes this season, though. I could not find the doctor in any of the Wikipedias or DC, nothing. So I knew he was going to die. I was like, okay, well, you're not important. But yes, he examined the knife. He translates really fast. He was like, give me that book so I can translate it. Got it. Here's what I was like, wow, sir. Speedy.
Yeah.
That's why you pick the good doctor. He knows what's up. So he uses his grandson. They break it down. And then, of course, Ray stretches out his hand. And he's like, I need that knife for world domination, I guess.
And we kind of sort of find out why he needs the knife.
Yeah,
to, like,
totally.
rebuild his empire. So at least we know why it's so important to him. It's not just, like, sentimental value.
Definitely. Let's talk a little bit about the grandson, who I appreciated a lot. Alex is really cute. I really liked the way he was trying to connect with Bruce like he was a kid, and then he was like, oh, this is not a child.
Yeah.
It's like, sorry, Master Wayne, you're doing it. Sorry.
Master Wayne.
Yeah.
I love that.
I really appreciated his falling in line and respecting of Bruce and Batman and all his power. I also like that Bruce is able to exert that kind of power this early in his young life. I thought that was pretty interesting.
I know. He's, like, putting millennials to shame right now. He's like, I'm not just a lazy millennial. I don't need to be on Snapchat all day. I'm trying to run Gotham.
He doesn't even need to go to school, so he's really on some next level stuff. But I'm kind of looking for... So Alex... I did finish Alex's storyline. Alex watches his grandpa die pretty horrifically, awful, but is smart enough to get the hell out of Dodge, runs to the library
With the
to
knife,
hide. He leaves the knife at the museum.
Knife.
Yes. Again, smart, this kid. He's like, look, if I don't have it, maybe don't kill me.
Yeah, he's like, if I hide, then he maybe didn't see my face, and I'm just going to keep out of sight and not go to the cops because then they'll find me. Like, he was pretty on point.
He was like 6 steps ahead of where I would have been, which is like, holy crap, what is happening?
I know. I would have been hiding in the closet, waiting for the cops, like, waiting for Jim Gordon to come and save me.
Yeah, because that's a pretty okay ending, really.
Like, Jim Gordon, I'm in here. Come find me.
Oh, man. Yeah, R.I.P. Alex. I feel you, Billie Jean. We're getting there.
Yes.
So, okay, that's Alex's story so far. Let's go back to Barbara Gordon.
I love her hair this season, or this episode.
It is so, because he didn't like the bob when she first came out.
I didn't like the bob, but I like it now.
I'm really attracted to girls with a high, like, women in power have bobs, guys. Girls with power, bobs. They're amazing. Barbara's got power now. It's really cool to see her doing that, except maybe not so much power. She's really under Raj's thumb, and it bothers me.
I know. She's normally, like, lead boss, and now she's secondary, and she's kind of just assuming this role, and she's not stepping up to the plate the way that I would have expected her to.
I understand. Look, she's financially unstable. Raj has so much power. If he says you're dead, you're dead.
Yeah.
And she has no friends, really.
Where's Selena?
But she kind of pissed off Selena the last time they talked. You know, Tabitha. She was like, you didn't do the thing. Tabitha doesn't really forgive her, even though she didn't cut off her hand. She doesn't really have anybody who's like, I ride or die for this chick. And that's kind of what Barbara needs, because she can fight now, which we saw a couple episodes ago. So maybe that's a little bit of a game changer, but she's going through like an adjustment period, I feel.
Yeah, she's going through like a midlife crisis. She's trying to find her identity again. She's like alive again, and she's like, I don't even know who I am now.
It's true. It's like life after 40. I feel that.
Yeah. She's like, I just got divorced. I didn't know what happened. My like left leg was chopped off, and now I'm trying to learn how to walk again.
Yes.
So she needs him as kind of like that stability.
But he's also kind of abusive in nature. He's definitely not letting her run her own
rebound.
Show. Also true. And he brought a human dog into her house, which would definitely be a deal breaker for me. Can you deal with the human dog?
No, I didn't like that. He was like very creepy.
It's
I liked when he
see...
jumped out the window. That was my favorite part.
When Bruce was like,
you like the bone?
You're dumb. Go.
Boom.
Out of here.
Gone.
Peace. Yeah, I don't like watching people subjugate themselves. It's like uncomfortable. And then to be at that level of like subjugation where it's like, okay, and you can kill a kid. It's really weird. But I guess it kind of works for Raj. I mean, if anyone's going to have a human dog hybrid thing, it would be him. Yeah, totally. So I bought it. Weird dog handler too. That guy was... I feel like I didn't know enough about that guy.
No,
though.
He like didn't talk. He didn't really do it. He just kind of like shadowed over and would like do a couple of, fight moves, and then he was
the muscle.
Nothing. Yeah.
I get it, but I feel like we could have done a little something more with his character.
Yeah.
But those guys are on the hunt for Alex. They eventually meet at the library. Going back, Bruce leaves his knife, even though he knows it's dangerous, and meets up with Gordon. Is like, I'm ready to play detective. And Gordon is like, that's so cute. You're a child. But I feel like Bruce wants to have this really powerful energy where it's like, okay, so like Raj was telling the story, he's like, the best liar I ever knew was this woman in China. And it wasn't the fact that she could lie well. You knew she was lying, but you wanted to believe her. I feel like Bruce has a similar power where it's like, I know you shouldn't be here, but you just seem so confident. Try it, I guess.
I mean, he's trying. He's really trying to push his weight here, and I'm a little conflicted. I don't know if I like it, or I still kind of... He has like that baby face, so I'm still kind of like, he's baby Batman. He's baby Bruce. But he's still like, coming into his big boy Batman. So I'm in that adjustment period. He's like in that awkward teenage phase where...
It's weird too. You know what? That's the perfect way to describe it, because sometimes he does things so well and sometimes he does things so poorly that you're like, I know this is part of the learning process, but bro, like, you could die. Like, your learning process has a giant grading curve.
Yeah.
So, be careful. Like, for example, you were able to sneak up on Gordon. Not an easy task.
No.
But then, you couldn't save Alex.
Yeah, he puts himself in like a lot of situations where he could potentially like die.
Yeah, I think he likes it.
Yeah, I think he likes it too. But at some point, like I like a little excitement, a little danger, but at some point, like I know my limits.
Yeah, I don't think Bruce lost those in the alley. Dark. How did you feel about the library fight scene? I thought it was pretty well choreographed, and I enjoyed watching it.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It gave me like that little action hit that I like.
Yeah, particularly as Gordon and Batman start working together. What I'll be really interested to see if the show tackles like even the smallest baby jump into the future.
I hope so.
Bruce is like, full-fledged Batman, because it's pretty canonical that Gordon doesn't know who the man behind Batman is. That's a really huge part of their relationship. It's why Gordon's able to let him continue to be the Caped Crusader. He's like, look, it doesn't matter who you are. Your presence makes our city better. But here you could go, like, it's an alternate universe, alternate timeline, however you want to look at it. And so you could potentially have a Gordon who knows who Batman is, and then how will that affect how he calls shots and things?
Do you think Gordon's would be okay with that? I feel like Gordon would not be okay knowing that Bruce is Batman and allowing him to go out and do what he does.
Okay, so if Gordon found out that Bruce was Batman at 22, when he's like a fresh, like, some of us have a headline of when Batman becomes Batman. Mine is Bruce starts fighting crime seriously at about 22, but he's training beforehand.
After he gets like the binge drinking out and he's has like, party days done.
Well, because his version of party days, if you guys have ever read like Batman Year Zero Year, like it's going down to Mexico and racing cars with the greatest car driver in the world, and then getting that guy arrested because justice. But learning the skills and taking off. Like, that, I really want a series of Bruce between, like, ages, I imagine he leaves, like, the manor at, like, 16, 17-ish.
How old is he now-ish?
In the show?
Yeah.
I believe he's, like, 14, 15. No, he's 16. We have this discussion every season. I swear people are going to jump through the TV one day and just destroy me. I'm pretty sure he's 16 or 17 right now. He hasn't had a birthday on the show, so maybe still 16. But this is about the age I always picture him leaving, is, like, sophomore, junior year of high school, like, screw it, I don't need it, I'm out. And then later he goes to college, but it's all on his own terms. I say all of this to say I really am curious about a Gordon who knows Batman. I think that the way this show has established their relationship, that's an eventual reality for Gordon. I don't think he could predict it now, but I think if he runs into Bruce, Bruce leaves the city, comes back to Gotham, is Batman, I think he notices immediately. And I think he's excited by the idea because Gordon likes his proteges. He loves his, deputy cops and his next in lines. He's old school that way.
That would be a fun twist.
I would really appreciate that.
I know. I hope they get to, like, show us a little bit of Batman.
Me too.
I have a feeling it's going to end on, like, the scene where he becomes Batman, but I'm hoping that we get to see a little... Oh, Bruce is 15.
Yes. Okay. 15 or 16. Look, what... Okay.
Well, I know.
Bruce needs a timeout. Bruce might need a little bit of a timeout.
Bruce needs like a little more like Alfred needs to like tame that just a little bit.
Alfred is not a disciplinarian. He's like a helicopter parent of like, okay, you're gonna go. It's gonna be great. I've taught you everything you need to know. Oh God, danger, get out! You're what did you teach me these skills for if not to use them? To
actually allow him to jump out of the nest and try to fly.
Yeah, and then every time Bruce is like puts on a sad face, Alfred's like, I love you, and then there's hugs, which is all great, but I also feel like I don't feel like it's a job Alfred can do. I feel like it's something that, Gordon, other daddy, needs to be doing, of being like, no, what are you doing? I already told you, which we see a little bit this episode.
Yeah.
It's why I kind of really appreciate, I always picture them as, like, Bruce's dads, because it makes the most sense to me.
Aww.
Based on the structure of the show, not that there's anything romantic between them, I just think they co-parent well.
We're not shipping them.
No. Although if you wanted to send me your fan fiction, I would read it. But I feel strongly that Gordon was like, okay, well, if Alfred's going to be out here teaching you, like, military tactics, I'll teach you police tactics.
Yeah. Here's how they could really set up Batman.
Exactly. Detective is teaching him this episode, which was fun.
Yeah,
and got
he
him
got
to
to
the
play
library.
detectives, yep.
Mm-hmm. Which was kind of cool. I like seeing Bruce switching from, like, military-style tactics to let me use my brain.
Mode. Yeah.
Definitely.
I liked that. I liked the way that he worked with Alex and how I like the scene when they're outside in the alley and Gordon's telling him, like, okay, now channel your inner detective and help us find Alex. And he's, like, thinking back and retracing all of his steps. And and was able to figure out, oh yeah, he's at the library.
I liked that too. Then Bruce confronts Barbara in a really weird kind of emotional space. What I like about Barbara is no one likes her, but also no one wants to really see her hurt.
I love Barbara.
I adore Barbara, but people on the show don't really like Barbara.
I don't know why. Like, they need to give her the respect that she's earned.
Barbara has cost a lot of people pain and money and killed a lot of people.
Yeah, there's a lot of blood on her hands. I mean, I can understand it to a degree, but there's like the whole forgiveness thing. Like, she killed your cousin. She killed your cousin. Like, we make amends and we move on.
Oh my goodness.
She's born again.
Oh boy. I just don't see it for Barbara that way. Like, I love her. I believe that there is, I don't want to say a good side, but a side that could operate under a Carmine Falcone run like Gotham. Like, she could play her part. She could own her club. She could sell I just feel like Barbara could have a good criminal underground life in Gotham. And oddly, I really want that for her. And it seems Bruce doesn't want her to die. He's like, look, you don't know what you've gotten yourself into. It's dangerous. I, of course, laugh because Barbara always knows what she's getting herself into.
Right, and I like how he kind of came into this episode like, none of you guys know what you're doing, but I know what I'm doing.
Me, a right 15.
I've got this whole situation figured out. None of you, Barbara, who's like a mastermind, a criminal mastermind, and then we have Gordon, who's like, Mr. Detective, who cracks down all of these guys, and he's just like, no, you guys don't know what you're talking about. Listen to me. I'm the guiding post.
Foolishness. So then, of course, Raish visits Gordon at the police station. It goes well for a minute. You see Gordon back in detective mode himself. We've seen Gordon.
Did he know that it was Raish at the beginning?
I think so, yeah. Because he said Raish says his name. He's like, yeah, this is where I'm from. He's like, yeah, that's in the Himalayas. And he's, they're doing that coded speak of like, so I know that you're bad, but I don't want that kid to die.
Yes.
Okay, well, kids don't have to die. I just need my knife.
Yeah.
And then hot-headed Alfred. Alfred, what the hell? You're acting a lot like Bruce, okay?
There were a lot of high emotions this episode.
It was really, people were fevered.
Yeah, exactly. There were like emotions that needed to come out. There was like some astrology stuff happening.
To be fair, he did kill Alfred. So I understand why Alfred was like, look, I get at least one free swing on you.
He came back to life. Like, he wasn't dead forever.
Exactly. Like, we fixed the problem. Like, it's time to move on. No.
Like, I wronged you, but I made it right.
So he blows that. Raj gets away. Gordon's kind of pissed. He's like, look, you got to stay here now. You weren't honest with me. Which, again, co-parenting. You got to be honest with the co-parent. You got to know what's going on with the kid or we can't help. Kid gets in trouble like Bruce does at the museum with the kid, Alex. Yeah, I like the bonding moment between Bruce and Alex. We don't get to see Bruce interact with a lot of mentally healthy children.
What did he say? He's weirdly cool.
Yes, yeah.
He's like, you're weird, but you're cool. You're weirdly cool.
It was a little corny, but I loved it. It warmed my heart a bit. I like that Alex gets some courage from Bruce when Anubis and his handler find them.
Until he dies.
Yeah, well, he's able to stab the dude with a shard of glass. Yeah. He holds his own. He doesn't cave to fear again, which is nice. And that's sort of what Batman's all about. That's his main goal, is kind of spreading hope and catching the baddies. So
it was a tragically victorious kind of parting.
I want to get into that decision-making moment because this, to me, is huge. So, comic book Batman does not kill. Okay, that's his whole thing. So his parents die. He doesn't want that to happen in the world anymore. He believes everyone, even the Joker, can be rehabilitated. This is his thought process. DCU, movie cinematic universe for DC, Batman will shoot a gun at people. Not really worried about it. That's his whole thing. It's interesting to me because I've been wanting to see where our Batman here in Gotham would fall on that scale. I think it's interesting and right that Batman feel responsible for someone's death, because oftentimes they'll be like, oh, Batman dropped a guy from a height of 20 feet and he didn't die because he knew just how to do it. Or he punched him to near unconsciousness, but there's no brain damage because he knew exactly how hard to hit the guy. Like, his math and skill is that great. Now, in a comic book, it's really cool because a lot of times they'll justify it. Sometimes it's comic book science, sometimes it's actual science. And it's really fun. But at some point, Batman is indirectly responsible for someone's death. You don't fight this much crime, get involved in this many incidences without that happening. And so I like that we're facing that head on here.
Yeah. Do you think that this is like a way of you know, the fact that he indirectly was kind of the reason Alex was killed. Do you think that's going to help set the tone for murder and killing people? You know, where he kind of sees the impact that his actions have, and now he decides that this is just not for him.
I was curious as to where we were going to go with that, because in the previews, just a little bit ahead, in the preview for next week, they do say that, like, oh, Bruce is going to go kill Raish if you're not careful, or he's going to try. I'm excited to see where it falls. To me, almost all options are at least intriguing for the character.
Yeah.
I think if I were going to write it based off, my preferences for Batman, I'd probably go with your storyline of, like, he gets close, but he in some way sees the value of life and doesn't want to do that. Or God forbid does and just isn't successful and has that feeling of like, oh my God, I almost killed a person.
Yeah.
So maybe along those lines, definitely.
Yeah, I think it's definitely, that was like a pivotal moment that's going to set the tone for Batman.
Yeah. Before we dive into our B story this week, which is the Riddler and Penguin, we're going to tell you about a new show on the CW. Mondays, the Charlie Whiskey Television Network, the CW, brings you to the front line of drama with the new military series, Valor. 2 Special Ops Army helicopter, breaking boundaries and defying all expectations. Their bravery in the face of impossible odds earned them the Distinguished Flying Cross for valor. But together they are finding that truth is the first casualty of war. During their last mission, something went wrong, something no one is talking about. And when they went into the combat zone, not everyone came home. So now they have secrets, but they're also patriots and refuse to leave any man behind. What would you do if you had to break the rules to do what's right? Would you stay grounded and step in line, or go to any lengths to learn the truth? They share secrets, go on clandestine missions, risk life and limb with only each other to depend on. How close would you get to the only person who really knows you? It's the explosive new drama that pushes the boundaries between military discipline and human nature. The new series that's right on target, Valor. New episodes Monday at 9, 8 Central after all new episodes of Supergirl, only on Charlie Whiskey, the CW. Definitely check out Valor.
Yes.
Drama. It looks amazing.
Drama and action.
And the CW has had, like, really stellar shows, like, for the past, like, maybe ever, but really strong for the last 3 years.
Yeah, there's been, like, a nice, interesting tone and a mix of different shows that they've added. They're not all just 90210.
Absolutely. Let's dive into the Riddler.
Yes.
I
feel so bad for him.
Still has a frozen brain. It's not looking good for him.
But he thought he had it figured out, and he was like, I got a good riddle. It only took me 6 hours. I got this.
How relatable is that story of, like, I worked so hard. This is shit.
Right? You're like, but I put everything into it, and it was supposed to be good. And then it's like,
no. I liked that he sent the rapping guys.
I loved the rappers.
They were kind of perfect, but I also thought it showed a little bit of the old Riddler, too.
Yeah.
Like, he knows how to push Edward's buttons still, even if he's maybe not as intelligent as he used to be. His emotional intelligence, not waned, which to me says that there's hope for that other intelligence to come back.
I hope so. I don't like this limp Riddler. I need him to be fully erect again.
I need him to at least develop a new way of coping. Like, if your intelligence isn't going to come back right away, like, start hitting the gym, or, like, find another, like, partner, or start at least plotting how to take down Penguin instead of this, like, direct running into a wall thing. I think it'll be interesting with the way the Penguin left the Riddler, which was essentially, hey, I'm not going to kill you, but...
because this is torture enough.
Yeah. So, which is dumb, Penguin. I mean, really.
Well, I thought if he would have frozen him again, that would have been really dumb.
That also would have been dumb. I'm not saying, I'm not advocating that we have him frozen again. But I also think it's dumb to leave him alive purposefully. Like, I get why his ego is so huge. He's like, haha, you're dumb now, and this is great, and I can laugh at you. He's going to be like his court jester, I imagine. Right, like, every time he passes him in the street, it's like, haha, there's that loser. But I also think that, Carmine Falcone might have just dropped bodies. Like, he might have just been like, you know what? No, we don't have time for that. Even, like, because Sophia was saying, like, look, sometimes there's a time for allegiance. Edward Nygma's never going to be on your side.
Yeah.
Or if he isn't, you guys are going to have to go through a roller coaster of events and emotions to get there that may probably prove not to be worth it anyway. If I were him, I'd ask him right away. What about you?
I think that would have been the smart thing to do, to just get rid of him, to have your fun, laugh at it, and just be done with it because I think if you leave him around, then he could very likely become the old Riddler that he was, and then it brings back this dynamic, unless, Penguin wants that. Maybe that turns him on. He's like,
he does need a good arch villain.
Yes.
So that makes sense to me. Batman's not around yet. Somebody was saying, Stardrew, that sounds cool. Like somewhat Joelle is weirdly cool. Thank you. I really appreciate that. That's a super great compliment. And then someone asked, how will Edward Nygma get his brain back? That's from Jameson Mirror Domains. How will Edward get his brain back? Slowly. I kind of imagine that it'll be...
Something's going to spark it.
You think it'll be a spark, or will it be like an education? I wouldn't mind seeing him go back to the GCPD, I'm not going to lie.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
I would really like to see him go back to the GCPD and just kind of hide in the background and kind of tinker his way
and
back to intelligence. Yeah, like instead of 6 hours, taking 3 months. The rest of the season is just a slow burn for Riddler of him piecing himself back together and figuring out a way to really take Penguin down. That would be exciting to watch.
Yeah, I'm rooting for the Riddler getting it back together and kind of coming back the same old Riddler that he was before. That's kind of what I'm hoping for.
Most definitely. Yeah, that kind of wraps up that. The only other thing we have to talk about is Sophia. Who's our girl, what? I love her. I love her style. I love how cool she is, but also... Okay, so questions. Does Sophia actually care? We see her cry about anything. Because, at first, when we first were introduced to her, and she was wearing the cool, Lady Godfather outfits, and I was dope. I thought, oh, here's a girl who's just so cool. She does not care about anything or anyone. She has a goal, and she's marching forward. Today, when we see the henchmen come bend the knee, a couple of things happen. One, that performance is so solid that it leaves Penguin unable to touch her, really.
Yeah.
I mean, he could have killed her if he wanted to, but it wouldn't have made a lot of sense. You don't want to piss off Carmine for nothing. So it seemed like she played that hand well. But as she's hearing the guys get shot in the other room, we see a single tear roll down her face. And I didn't think that she cared.
I think she's a sociopath.
Oh, explain.
I think this is all an act, and she's trying to... I think she came with the game plan. She does want to take over Gotham. She wants to bring Penguin down. She said it last week. She said that Gotham is her birthright. She's not here for charity. I don't think anybody buys that. I think she's got a game plan. I think she doesn't care about it. I mean, come on. If you're going to care, you're going to care that this guy killed your brother. You're not going to start making out with him and, banging him in the bathroom.
Yeah, well, maybe. He's Gordon. He's hot. They did end up hooking up at the end of the scene. Benjamin Slates and Sophia
that was
a
the
cold-hearted
cheesiest love scene.
Oh, God, yeah. I just feel like he's too in love with his wife now to do a good love scene. He's like, I found the one. Sorry, Benjamin Slates says Sophia is a cold-hearted snake. Uh-oh, she is telling lies. Maybe.
Yep, I agree.
I totally see that. I could totally see her flipping the script on Gordon. Although, again, Gordon in many comic books has a very good relationship with Falcone because he does understand, if we work together, then we can create some kind of order.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I love that Gordon just gives into lusty feelings. When it was with Vicky Vale, who's still my number one hookup for Gordon, he was just drunk and delirious. He's like, I can't. When it was, oh my gosh, what is her name? Main chick that he was with, Lee. When he's with Lee, it's it's kind of all just raw passion, you know? Oh my gosh, I love this girl. I have to be with her. When he was with Barbara, it was all about image and ego. With her, it's just sex.
Yeah.
It is just pure I have that. I hate it. I hate it and I want it at the same time. That's gonna implode quickly. If that lasts 3 episodes, shocked I will be.
Really?
Yes.
I like this kind of dynamic. I like that he picks the girls that he, we all know it's never gonna work out. We all know it's the bad girl.
Yeah.
But something about his heart is just so pure that you just kind of want him to hope the bad girl turns good just for him.
Just for him, change their whole style. That's not how it works. No, if you're dating a bad person, you need to know that they're going to continue to be bad. You're not going to change them. No.
Not in Gotham.
Not anywhere. Love is work. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of curious to see if Gordon could ever get back together with Barbara.
Ooh.
Seeing them back together in the room, and again, they end up together in the comic book world. Now we know this is different. I'm just referencing the different places we've seen these relationships.
That would be an interesting dynamic.
Yes,
I feel like he likes that friction. He likes when he has that banter with the girl.
If you look at all of the girls he's dated, there's a little bit of all of them.
There's a lot of
Barbara.
friction. Yep.
Like there's that quick kind of wit that Lee had is definitely in Barbara. That kind of animal magnetism.
I didn't like Lee.
You're not the only one. I love Lee because I think Lee, if Gordon was able to ever walk away from Gotham, he would have had that perfect life with Lee. Like if he could have said, you know what, this is not a healthy space for me to be in.
I think that's what I didn't like about her. She was too clean for him. She was too.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Like they could have actually like lasted, and it would have been like a nice, more fairy book ending where I like the tension and the friction and the I don't want to sleep with you, but I'm just gonna do it anyway in front of this fireplace.
They were. I like the scenery. They were definitely always causing each other pain. Like there were good moments, but I feel like the bad outweighed the good to the point where it was difficult to root for them after a while. It's like she had to move out of the city, bro. Like that's a difficult breakup. And you're like, you know what? Can't be in the same state anymore.
Yeah.
Gotta go. So it'll be interesting. I wonder, is the chat saying anything about Gordon getting back together with Barbara? Because I'm curious. I'm happy Nigma didn't get frozen again. Me too. With the dress she was wearing, it wasn't her heart that was pure. No, she wanted the D. Well, Leah's his real life girlfriend last I checked. Well, yeah, no, totally. If you guys have opinions about them getting back together, Barbara and Gordon, you could share them because I am curious how you guys feel about
what do you guys think about that? I'm rooting for it.
Me too. I'll let you guys think about that as we move into predictions. Predictions!
Yeah.
Yay!
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
I feel like his lights have gotten so much brighter.
I know.
And maybe it's just the particular
they are
studio we're
brighter.
in. It's just my eyes. Wow.
Boom.
What do you think Bruce is going to do? We touched a little bit on it, but let's just get definitive answers. Does Bruce go after Ra's al Ghul to kill him next week, yes or no?
Yes. I think Raj killing Alex really pissed off Bruce. It like set the mode for him to really go in charge.
I think anything but could happen, but because there's only two of us, I'm going to make the devil's argument and say, no, he doesn't, because I just think a Bruce Wayne that kills doesn't make a lot of sense to me, or even with a desire to kill. Now, he's a human, he's flawed, he could fluctuate back and forth, but I'm kind of hoping we don't see him. I hope that Alfred is wildly over-exaggerating in the trailer and is kind of freaking out doing his helicopter parent thing.
I think the fact that, I mean, it's one thing to feel like you have your hand in a murder, and it's another thing to feel like, you lost an innocent to the bad guy. But like in this case, like this was such an innocent, like it was a boy. It was somebody that he like connected with. It was a kid. I think there's going to be like some built up, as he's struggling to kind of find his identity as Batman. I think there's definitely going to be a conflict of, morals versus revenge. And I think we're going to see that with him next week.
I look forward to that. Do you think Barbara can push out of Ra's al Ghul's grasp? And if so, who does she partner up with?
I hope she does. I don't know if I have much faith that she will anytime soon. I feel like she needs him because she doesn't really know. I think she kind of touched on that in the past couple of episodes where she kind of expressed very, very lightly that she kind of wasn't sure of who she was anymore now that she was reborn or brought back to life. I don't know how we would coin that.
If Gordon and Sophia stay together for more than the 3 episodes I previously predicted, how does their relationship work as she begins to build her empire?
I don't think they're going to stay together. I think she's going to eventually get what she needs, and then she's going to be like, ha, gotcha. And then he's going to be like, but I liked you.
I'm still convinced Sophia dies at the end of this season, or before, like a little bit before. Carmine has to come back, is my thought process.
Really? I thought he was like done.
That's what he says. He says he's not doing well. I think
maybe
Carmine's
he
a
can
tough
hook up
old
with
bird.
Raj, and Raj can like be like, okay, let's kill you so that we can bring you back to life, bigger and badder.
I have a feeling she'll reach beyond her grasp, wind up being gravely injured or killed, and Carmine will have to come back to avenge his only child, and he'll wind up running Gotham again, and will be full circle.
What if he gets healthy again, and then he decides that Gotham is his, so he comes and he kills her?
Whoa, that would be crazy. I can't see Carmine killing his last child.
I think that would be fun.
I mean, it would definitely be fun to see that story work itself out. Like, how do you piss off your dad so much that he kills his last remaining relative, essentially? And she seems capable of it. Like, I feel deep within her a lot of evil that I'm looking forward to seeing that come out. I'm telling you,
she's a sociopath. She's not... I don't trust her.
Benjamin Slates, I don't think Carmine is sick.
I'm with you. I don't think he's sick. I think he's faking it. He's totally faking it, and he has a bigger plot up his sleeve.
Zisabu was guessing who is behind the booth. It's actually Anthony. We love him. He's our engineer. I like that you guys... Is Anthony having like a whole conversation with the guys in chat? For those of you who don't listen or watch live, consider it, because our chat is hilarious. I love these guys.
I chime in here and there.
Wait, can you scroll up just to Young and Savage's comment? Something about Grundy?
Grundy is coming?
Grundy is coming.
I was happy Nigma didn't get frozen again.
Yeah. Grundy is coming. Young, explain yourself.
Solomon Grundy, right?
Well, yeah, but like, why do we think he's coming?
Yeah.
I mean, you're definitely talking about a lot of people have come back from the dead. Mm-hmm. So Grundy makes sense.
A lot of people, like Solomon everybody Grundy. That's died has come back.
Definitely. I'm curious to see why you think he's coming back now. But cool. Yeah, continue that conversation in the chat below. Thank you guys so much for joining us. This has been like a really fun conversation. Is there anything that you didn't think we touched on that you wanted to say, predict for next week?
I missed Ivy.
Gosh, I missed Ivy.
Random, but I missed Ivy.
I would like a kids episode. Like, I want an overgrown Ivy who's still, you know, like, with a mind of a 13-year-old, and, like, Catwoman, like, slowly coming into her own, and Bruce having to team up with them. Like, I want the kids... I want the kids to have, like, a mini adventure episode, because I think that'd be fun.
That would be fun.
And then I would like Fox or the CW to make Gotham Central a TV show, because it's the best comic book. And I love boarding school shows, and Batman would be there. What? Damian Wayne in a school uniform? We all want it. Yeah, until next week, Zach, where can the folks find you?
You guys can find me at Just Plain Zack, ZACK. Go follow me, and let's tweet about this episode.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so Ziza B is saying that Butch is Grundy, which makes a whole bunch of sense to me. Thank you. We're going to talk about that more next week, because that is a really cool thing. Until next week, you can find me all over the internet at Joelle Monique, every week at blackgirlnerds.com. If you head over to my Instagram page now, that's Joelle_Monique, you can see all of the press conference from the Thor Ragnarok adventures. It was really cool. I got some exciting information from Tessa Thompson. Of course, Chris Hemsworth was there looking sexy as hell. So check that out. Taika Waititi, who's the director. If you don't know him, watch all of his movies and then go see this one. I can't say anything about it yet, but wow. Thank you for joining us, guys. We will see you next week, right back here, Gotham, on AfterBuzz.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.